One of my goals this year is to learn 3D. My experience is limited to crying when I had to use Maya at university, using SketchUp to model a background for my final film for reference, modelling a log and flower for a previous grease pencil project. Usually I like to have a project in mind when I want to learn something new, but that made my brain go. So it was time for some tutorials. I wanted them to be a mix of sculpt with me type videos and interface/tool walkthroughs that were easy to follow. I set myself a rule that I had to practice for at least an hour a day for a week. I could go longer if it was going well, and if not, it was still progress. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend these tutorials from YouTube and these classes on Skillshare, who are the sponsor of today's video. If you're new to Blender or just the 3D side like I am, this class by Harry Helps was really great. He provided the project file and examples for every lesson. Each one was really comprehensive and detailed without being overwhelming. One of the perks of learning like this instead of in a classroom setting is you can pause and come back to any classes you're taking at a later date. The campfire scene in this class is really nice, and I like that later in the classes I could move around and test out lighting and materials and camera angles myself without having to model all the things first. I decided to add a little 2D animation in there and see if I could get it to mesh with what I already had, which I'm pretty pleased with, and I'm looking forward to incorporating in my future 3D 2D workflow. Now, I didn't just look at Blender for 3D because I bought Nomad Sculpt on the iPad ages ago, and other than one ugly sculpt I attempted and very quickly deleted, I hadn't used it at all. I made this chunky bunny and this little clown inspired guy from these classes by Dave Reed, which were real-time walkthroughs. I can't take my PC with me to visit friends or work at a cafe, so learning Nomad Sculpt also means I don't have an excuse to avoid practicing. And if I make a model here, it can be imported to Blender. I did customize my clown character with grease pencil, which was a really fun way to finish off the model. Though trying 3D and rendering it all has made me realize I might now need to update my graphics card to something a bit stronger. Learning something new can be both exciting and terrifying. It's not always fun being bad at something, but now that I've left school and it's not mandatory, I actually love learning new things and following my 101 different interests that change every other week. Following tutorials like these do give you those small wins to keep you motivated and improving. So if you want to check out any of the Skillshare classes I mentioned or browse through their thousands of other classes on topics like editing, photography, illustration or design, check out the link in the description to get a free 30-day trial of Skillshare. Now, I think what stopped me from learning 3D before, other than the fact that I was more comfortable and faster with 2D, is because for the longest time I really thought you had to model and sculpt every little bit, and then there was some tricky process to bind the blocks or shapes together. But no, that's not quite true. Not sure where I got that from. But rigging and animating my own rigs though, that's something I'll start later. Hopefully it won't take quite so long to get to it. So after a week of doing 3D for at least an hour a day, I think it went really well. I expected to be terrible at it and really struggle, but working on something for just an hour a day made things so much more manageable, and I do want to do it again. My new goal is to get good enough to make myself a little 3D character that has 2D details. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you with another video real soon. Bye!